Let's see what we get when we look at Surah 3, verse 55. We'll look at a couple different translations here. Behold, here's the use of Ali. Behold, Allah said, "O Jesus, I will take thee and raise thee to myself." So this is towards the end of Jesus' earthly ministry. Allah is telling him, "Hey, I'm going to take you. I'm going to take you away." So behold, Allah said, "O Jesus, I will take thee and raise thee to myself and clear thee of the falsehoods of those who blaspheme. I will make those who follow you superior to those who reject faith to the day of resurrection. Then shall you all return to me, and I will judge between you of the matters wherein you dispute." We'll go back to the Pickthall. Allah said, "O Jesus, lo, I am gathering you and causing you to ascend to me." So this is translated as gathering you and causing you to ascend. Yusuf Ali, "O Jesus, I will take you and raise you to myself." Hilali Khan, Allah said, "O Jesus, I will take you and raise you to myself." So they're translating this as take you and raise you. Shakir says, "O Isa, I'm going to terminate the period of your stay on earth and cause you to ascend to me." You have the problem for the clarity of the Quran. Allah brags over and over again about how clear his revelations are. But then when he's talking about what happened to Jesus, he uses a word that normally means die. Why wouldn't everyone just translate it as, causing you to die or taking away your soul or something like that? Because if you first go to Surah 4, verse 157, and you conclude that 4:157 is promoting substitution theory, then Jesus didn't die, and you obviously can't take a word that normally refers to something having to do with death. You obviously can't translate it as dying, or as Allah causing you to die, if you've concluded that elsewhere in the Quran, Jesus didn't die. If you are talking to people, you are responsible for what you're telling them. And so if you're telling people completely false things, you're responsible for that. You're responsible for misleading people.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. David Wood lied once again about the Holy Quran, and he said that the Quran said clearly that Jesus alayhi salam died in the Holy Quran. And he quoted chapter 3, Surah Al-Imran, verse 55. إذ قال الله يا عيسى إني متوفيك ورافعك إلي ومطهرك من الذين كفروا وجاعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا إلى يوم القيامة ثم إلي مرجعكم فأحكم بينكم فيما كنتم فيه تختلفون. He said that the word متوفيك here means death, and Muslims did not give the right translation. And as a matter of fact, he doesn't know Arabic and he doesn't know anything about the Arabic language. But he gave himself the right to translate the word متوفيك here to death. Actually, the word متوفيك in the Holy Quran has three different meanings. First one is death. Second is sleeping. Third is terminate or fulfillment of a period of time. I'll give you an example for each and every one among those three meanings. The verse that he quoted, chapter 3, verse 55, إذ قال الله يا عيسى إني متوفيك، هنا تأتي بمعنى إنهاء المهمة وإنهاء عمله وفترته كرسول, which means متوفيك here means terminate or fulfillment of his first time on earth, and Allah raised him alive for himself, and he will come back the second time. So he fulfilled his mission as a prophet, then he was raised up alive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second meaning you read in Surah Al-Zumur, chapter 39, verse 42. Allah says, الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها. The word يتوفى here comes with two meanings, death and sleeping. When he says يتوفى الأنفس, when he says it's Allah who takes away the souls of people at the hour of their death, this is here يتوفى means death, and takes away at the time of sleep. Here it means sleep. So in this verse you can read two meanings, death and sleep. You can also read the meaning sleeping also in chapter 60 of the Holy Quran, chapter 6 of the Holy Quran, verse 60, Surah Al-An'am. Allah says, هو الذي يتوفاكم بالليل ويعلم ما جرحتم في النهار. He recalls your soul by night and know what you do by day. So here the meaning of يتوفاكم, sleeping. The third meaning is death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Sajdah chapter 32 verse 11, قل يتوفاكم ملك الموت الذي وكل بكم ثم إلى ربكم ترجعون, which means here says, oh prophet, your soul will be taken by the angel of death. So here the word يتوفاكم means death. So this is the third meaning of the word يتوفاكم. Now if you read the Bible, you will read the Bible that it has almost the same meaning. The word يتوفى in the Arabic version of the Bible was translated to your English version of the Bible as sleep. I'll give you some examples. If you read in Matthew chapter 5 verse 26 and Luke chapter 12 verse 59, it says توفي الفلس الأخير, توفي الفلس الأخير, which means to fulfill, fulfillment here. So this is one of the meaning. It comes also in the Bible in the meaning of death. Death is sleeping. If you read in Matthew chapter 27 verse 52, it said وَالْقُبُورْ تَفَتَّحَتْ, and you read after that الرَّاقِدِينَ, which means in English, and the graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept rose. So those that saint, he called them sleeping. So death here means sleeping. Also, you read in Matthew chapter 9 verse 29, قال لهم تنحوا فإن الصبية لم تمت لكنها نائمة. Jesus says unto them, give a place, for the girl is not dead but sleeps. So here he called also death as sleeping. You read again when he spoke about Elazar, he said that Elazar is not dead, he is also sleeping. And you read this very clearly in John chapter 11 verse 11, 12 and 13, where Jesus says, our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. So here he called up death as sleeping. Even in the English language, you can use the same terms. If you say, for example, dead end, does that mean that the road is dead and you have to bury the road? When you say my phone is dead or my phone died, does that mean that your phone passed away and you have to bury your phone? No, of course it doesn't mean that. You see, so therefore even in English language, you can use the word dead, which does not mean death as you claim, because it depends upon the context. And I give you an example, which is dead end and my phone died, or the engine of my car died, or whatever else. So therefore the word dead has more than one meaning, and the meanings depends upon the context. Actually, during the time of Prophet Muhammad, his enemy called him as magician, as a crazy man, mad, everything, liar, just to prove that he is not a true prophet of Allah. So why not, his enemy did not use this against him? Let's come to Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, Al-Walid bin Mughira, Musallam bin Kadhab. The language of the Holy Quran, the classical Arabic language of the Holy Quran, was their mother tongue language. And they know the meanings of the word mutawaffika. So if the word mutawaffika here means death as you claim, why is it no one among those of his enemy used this verse against Prophet Muhammad and tells him that you are lying, mutawaffika means death, and you say that Jesus did not die? But nobody used it against Prophet Muhammad, because they know that the word mutawaffika in this context, chapter 3 verse 55, doesn't mean death as you claim. So therefore none of his enemy used it against him. Once again, those enemies of Prophet Muhammad, the Arabic language, the classical language of the Holy Quran, was their mother tongue. They were expert in such language. Nobody used it against him because it doesn't mean mutawaffika. I hope that this answered his misconception. جزاكم الله خير, بارك الله فيكم, والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته, and peace be with everyone.